Good evening, good afternoon, good morning. Thank you for having us this evening. We've come your way today, and just to get started with a new show. Today actually is the first time we're kicking off with this particular show, and I hope you guys will be around to listen to us, because it's going to be a topic that will benefit every one of us. So I will indulge you to sit back, listen to us while we talk on this. We promise we're not going to take your time at all. So my name is Martina Uzochukwu Onyaya Nawanne, and I'm a mom, and I'm an entrepreneur, and have this talk show for us to rub minds together. And with me here this evening is my beautiful lady, who will be introducing herself shortly. But before she introduces herself, I just want to run a bit about this show, what it's going to be about. Is if you see the topic, you will see it's titled Matters That Matter. So it's going to be a general thing happening in our everyday life. It's not just a particular thing. It could be health, it could be religion, it could be faith, anything. So we're going to be talking about it. But today, in particular, we're going to zero on sacrifices in relationship. General, remember, nothing personal. So we're going to talk sacrifices in any area of life. That's what we are going to talk about. And this is just the season one of it, because it's going to be kind of serious, and some other people will talk on it until we get it right. Then we move on to another topic. So thank you guys for coming around, and please do share this video. When you see it on Facebook, on YouTube, do subscribe, and don't forget and don't hesitate to ask your questions. Just pop it in the inbox there. Definitely we'll get back to you. Thank you as you sit back to listen to us. God bless us. My lady, please introduce yourself to our audience and tell them a little bit about yourself, and then we'll take it up from there. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Mr. Martina, for bringing me onto your show. I am Irene Tongley, and I live in Stockholm, Sweden. I am a wife. I am a mother of 2 kids. Actually, I've been a single mom more than I've been a married woman, so I still have much more of the single mom experience in me. As for the marriage, I'm not so long in it, so yeah. So yeah, I'm a jurist. I practice law for a number of years. I've been an entrepreneur as well, and I've been an octopus, I would say. Yeah, as a woman, I try to surpass myself, and I believe that's the role of a woman, always trying to achieve beyond your reasons. So that's who I am.
Thank you very, very much. Guys, you heard it. You heard it. So be very careful. Be very careful. She's a jury. Anything can happen. Cracking some jokes there. Just remember to take down whatever you want to ask and then pop it on the inbox. Definitely we'll get back to you. So sis, let's take it up. I would like to ask, what is your view on sacrifices in relationships in general?
In general, I would say that they are always, we live in a world where everybody has an opinion. Everybody has something to say about a particular thing. But I think that the opinion that should be most considered in a lot of things are opinions that come from somebody who know what they're talking about, somebody who have experienced it, or somebody who have studied it in one way. Any other one might just be what somebody's thinking. But if you don't wear the shoes, you won't know how it feels. So sometimes the opinion is not really, really welcome. So when it comes to sacrifices, I generally go from what I have seen directly from people during my years. I was practicing as a lawyer. What I saw growing up with my mom, who was a magistrate and a female advocate for many years. I grew up in that gathering where I saw women coming with a lot of issues in relationships, in homes, and my own experience as a young girl growing up, being in relationships and getting to weigh from one thing to the other. When it comes to relationship, the first thing that should be considered is the kind of relationship that you're having, because the status of your relationship will determine the level of sacrifice that you put in. Some people will just say, I have to sacrifice for the relationship. What kind of relationship? You should make sure what you are going out for, what you're putting in, should not be more than the outcome, should not be more than your gain. So before I even give my opinion about sacrifices, I want to level the status. What is the status of that relationship? Is it a friendly relationship? Is it a relationship between siblings at home, between parents and daughters, between a boyfriend and a girlfriend, between a husband and a wife? Because sacrifices that you put at each level of this relationship differ. So in one context, exactly, are we talking about sacrifices?
Okay, let's go this way. First, between siblings, let's say between siblings first, then we'll touch a little bit between spouse.
Exactly. It's really important that when it comes to spouses, people know the difference between a man you're married to and a man you're dating. Because in the world today, many people, they put out a marital life or marital effort into a relationship that hasn't got a definition yet. And at the end of the day, you get burnt out without even being married. So, but when it comes to siblings, I would say, they always say blood is thicker than water. But every relationship to a particular sibling depends on the kind of upbringing you've got. Coming from Africa, we are taught that blood is the most important thing. You can do everything for your sibling because it's blood. They talk about, they have this mindset about blood. But when we go in the Western world, they have a different idea of sacrifices you can make for siblings, because they believe that once everybody's an adult, first of all, when you are children, you're not responsible for anyone. The parents are responsible for each of their children. And when you become adults, they believe everybody's an adult, so you are kind of responsible for the decisions you made, right? So from my own side, I will say, for my siblings, I love my siblings because they are my blood, and you get to create other relationships that can be more important. Sometimes you can sacrifice for your friend more than a blood relationship, but it has the level I will go for every sibling, because I keep in mind the fact that everybody, once you cross a particular age of your life, you become an adult and you become responsible for every piece of action that you take. And every action comes with consequences. So I can never take responsibility for an action you did as an adult purposely, especially if you didn't seek for advice. And I would never give my advice on something that was not requested. If I see my sister doing something or my brother doing something, whether it's good or not, if you don't ask my opinion, I will not give it, because I believe they're adults. If you ask my opinion, I will give you my honest opinion about it. But if you don't ask my opinion, I will just say you're an adult. You know your choices, because at the end of the day, everything you do has consequences. And when you make decisions, you have to deal with the consequences. So as much as I love my siblings, there's a level to which I will go when it comes to a sacrifice I will make for a sibling, especially being a mother. Because when you become a mother, you have a different way you look at life. You are not living for yourself alone. You are living for some other people that you have to raise to a particular level. So there's the extent to which your hands are limited when it comes to another adult, right? I don't know if I'm making my points clear. So like I said, when it comes to siblings, when it comes to siblings, I love all my siblings. I love all the direct siblings I have, because for me particularly, I'm categorical. Direct siblings. If other direct siblings, I will hardly, unless I have particular love for you, I will hardly go an extra mile for somebody that is not a direct sibling. When it comes to family, if you're a direct sibling, I will do everything in my reach to help you, but it has a level that I cannot cross, because I know that this is something that you choose to do, and it comes to consequences, and you just have to own it up. The same way, I believe that my own actions, I am responsible for my own actions. When it comes to consequences, I have to sum it up without having to bug anybody about it. So that's my point of view.
Thank you very much. Coming from what you just said now, you love your siblings. I would like to throw one question. You as a lawyer, and maybe let's say now, coming from where we are coming from, not the Western world now, and either of your siblings say like gets into criminal act, and you are in the position, is either you're saving your sibling and it's going to cost you your job, a kind of, potential something in your job, or you're saving your job and your sibling is going in for that action. What would be your stand there? Based on the loving your siblings.
When it comes to crime and crime rate, there are particular crimes are classified. That's the reason why there's a particular reason why crimes are classified. They are simple offenses, they are misdemeanors, they are felonies. So they are offenses that are minute, they are medium offenses, and they are crazy offenses, and they are capital offenses. They are felonies that are capitalized, that are aggravated. And when it comes to crime, I will tell you here, point and blank, that there are some crimes that even criminals don't forgive. That's why you will see some cases where people get into prison and they get beaten by the prisoners. If I have a sibling who commits something like child abuse, it's not my business. You go where you have to go, you make your choice and you live with it. I will not put my finger on the ground for you, because you should have thought about it. Now, if a sibling of mine commits manslaughter, that's something different. Somebody is dead, but so long as it wasn't capital murder, that is not a crime that you premeditated. You didn't plan to go and kill this person. Something led to another thing, and if somebody died, and you are the person that committed the action, I can do everything for you within my reach. You understand? So that's the reason why crimes are classified. If you're my brother and you rape somebody, it's your choice. You made the choice to live the life of a raper. So I'll just let you live your life that you choose to live. Now, if you steal, stealing it's something. It's depending on the age. Unfortunately, some kids grow up and they don't just listen, they just rebel and they take wrong decisions at a particular time of their life. People get to do wrong things sometimes without having thought it through. Some crimes can be forgiven. Some crimes are hard, but they can be forgiven. Some cannot be forgiven. So it would depend on the crime that the family member committed, and that the kind of crime would determine my input into it.
Thank you very much. Thank you. You've explained that. So on this ground, everybody should stand their ground and bear their cross. When you live right, you stand by the person. But when the person intentionally does something that is wrong, intentionally, then the person
that is why in law, there are two things that I consider mostly in law. The action, and what makes it more serious is the intention. An action that is not backed by intention is not always a crime. An action has to be backed by intention to make it criminal. So once you put intention to it, it spoils the whole thing. It means that you wanted to do this thing. It is a choice you made. Like I said, I belong to the school that let people live the consequences of their actions. When they choose to go this path, you have to just walk the road. Like there's an old adage that says, if you hurt your water, you go watch them, like, as you make your bed, you lie on it. I go by that seriously.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Our audience, I hope you're hearing. I think in the world where we are in now, every action is backed up by your intention. You first process it in you before you carry out their action. But yeah, some could be, unprompted. Thank you very much for that. And now let me ask them, as a married person, between spouse, do you think sacrifice should be made by both parties, or it just have to be the woman?
That's a good one. We are built differently. It's definitely something that everybody must have noticed, that women are multitaskers. Women can do many things at the same time. That is something men cannot do. So, and the reason why they say women are the one that hold a relationship. A woman, the Bible says a wise man builds her home. Why does the Bible say a wise man builds a home? Building the home is the responsibility of a woman. But then the man has his own responsibility. The degree of sacrifice a woman will put in a relationship would depend on the amount of love and respect the man gives to her. Sometimes women go an extra mile. That is because they know how much important the man holds in the relationship. That is what men can simply not do. Even if they want to do it, they don't even know how to do it. So the woman has more capacity to do more. It's not like she will sacrifice her entire life. You cannot sacrifice for somebody that doesn't care. So long as you see care, somebody that has a relationship, that wants a relationship, that wants it to work, and is doing what he can as a man, you, the woman, have to put in all. That is why the Bible puts the responsibility on Proverbs 31. I'm sure many women have read that verse of the Bible. You realize that the responsibility of the wife is heavy. It's heavy. The wife has so much more to lay down for a relationship to work. So much more than a man. A man is just to love the wife, to work hard, to feed the wife, and to feed his family at the sweat at his sweat. But the woman has so many things. Even the woman still have to work. When you look at the proverb, the passage in the book of Proverbs, the woman still have to work. She has to tie her wrapper on her waist and work to make sure that her family eats. So the woman has so much more to give out in a relationship. And most often women should not see it as if they're sacrificing. Women, it's because I think social construct has made it in such a way that women begin to feel like what they were supposed to do naturally now feels like a burden. And they feel like this thing that was supposed to be natural is now, it's like I'm feeling the work, I'm carrying. Normally, many women, if you ask them, when they're carrying a child on their back, they don't feel it. They can clean the house, they can cook, and that child is on their back. Or somebody makes another, you so far, why will you carry that child on your back? Then you start thinking that it's true, this child is on my back. Most of the things that women do is something that God has given them the ability to do. But with civilization and social constructivism, they now feel like it's something that is too heavy for them to do. That's why it has become like a burden for women. Women feel like they're doing way too much than the man. But I think women were built to do more than a man should do. But I, on my own side, think a woman should only do that for a man that cares about her well-being, that cares about how she feels, that cares about the relationship, that the relationship should be healthy, should be good, the woman should be good. She should not overdo, she should not strain herself too much. She should not, a man should be able to tell you, relax, you work too hard. Even though he's the one going out to work the money, you should be able to see that you cleaning the house, taking care of the kids, cooking is too much. I said, relax, don't worry about this. You can do it tomorrow, things that you not feel like you're doing anything. Now, if you have to like stay at home for your husband to go and work, and the man doesn't like attend to you, he doesn't pay attention to your own needs, that's when it becomes troublesome. Then you feel like you are doing everything and you cannot even afford the least things, whereas the man has the means to afford it. That's when you start feeling like there's a drag, there's a pull, because you are feeling like you are giving too much of you and nothing is coming back. So it's a two-way thing. A woman can give way too much if she feels like it is worth it. But if it's not worth it, then it becomes difficult.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I think you really nailed it there. So in other words, if I got you right, what you're trying to tell us there is, if the man is not loving the woman enough, the sacrifice shouldn't be there?
I particularly don't think that a woman should give everything she has, her energy, because the truth is that right now, people marry the wrong people. So it's okay to make a mistake and realize that this man I marry is not the one I wanted to marry. It's not working. I'm not having the life I thought I would have. I'm not feeling the energy I wanted to have to boost me up. I'm not feeling like I'm becoming the woman I had planned to become. My life is wasting. It's okay for you to feel that, to go back to your and check your relationship and check if you are actually married to what you aspired to get married. Marriage is not a prison. It's not a place where you go and lock yourself up and you have to waste your life down to it. You should be able to do an evaluation after some time to see that you are still on track with your relationship. So this relationship is still on track. This is what you wanted. This is what you actually thought you would be. Because the more you feel like this is what I wanted, the more you want to make it work, the more you want to put in, because you are actually working on the same lane with your husband. So if the man isn't, if you feel like it is draining you, then it is time to realize that you might have married wrong. And there's no point to keep pushing, because you are going to hit the wall. And hopefully when you hit the wall, it's not too late. So it's good for every woman to always reevaluate the values that she had, if she had any, who she wanted to be, the person that she is, because no man will come and make you someone. You first of all have to have a person you want to be. You first of all have to want, you have to have a life built in you. Love yourself, love your energy, love who you are, feel happy with your own self, enjoy your private space. Don't think that a man is going to come and make you enjoy those things. If you don't enjoy it already, nobody can make you have happiness. Nobody can make you feel like you are living. You first of all have to want to live, and then feel like you need somebody that can boost you to become better, or to go up to where you're aiming to go at faster. So now if you get a partner that comes in and you feel like you're weighing down, it's not getting better, you're losing everything that you were, you're not feeling like you are the same person that you were before, you're even getting down, and you're looking forward and you're pushing and it's not going forward, you might start reconsidering to evaluate your relationship, what kind of relationship you are in, if this is the right thing you want for your life, how much more energy you have to put in, how long do you think you can drag it up, you know? I think in the world we are today, many people have married wrong, because some people married for wrong reasons. People actually put reasons to why they get married, and they marry for the wrong reasons. And sometimes they don't want to go out of it because, unfortunately, peer pressure is making it feel like you are a loser. But you actually lose by staying in an unhealthy relationship. And you even be a bigger loser.
I was going to ask you that now. Thank you for that. I was going to ask. Peer pressure, you said. And how about Christianity background? Because most women are really dying in silence in their marriages because they believe, or they'll think, what will people say? What will my parents' friends say? Or you're coming from, a deep Christian background, and then that relationship, is not really right for you. And would you sacrifice yourself, your life, your happiness to remain in that relationship?
I think Christianity is a very vast topic, and it's something that is really controversial. But as a Christian myself, I believe that every Christian should know that Christianity is a relationship you have with God. It's a direct relationship that you have with the supreme being. It doesn't have middlemen. It doesn't have third parties. It must not pass. The only middleman in this relationship is Jesus Christ. That's the only middleman. No pastor, no parent, no preacher, no prophet has an opinion of his when it comes to your relationship. Always try to make it right with God. And you know when it's not right with God because the Holy Spirit uses your conscience. Sometimes there's something that you will do. Everybody will think you are wrong, but when you come on your bed, you sleep till morning. That is because God doesn't judge you for that thing that you have done. He sees that you have done the right thing. So as Christians have to be, unless you're not a psychopath, because psychopaths don't have empathy. So I think many Christians have to learn to read the Bible, have to learn to pray to God directly, have to learn to communicate with God, not calling the pastor.
Excuse me, they read and understand.
Yes, understanding is a grace because not everybody can understand. Sometimes you need the grace to understand some passages. Sometimes you need the grace to interpret what some passages mean, because you can read one passage 4 times and you get 4 different understanding of that same passage. Yeah. So sometimes, most often, the Bible says, if you lack understanding, ask. So most often, it is everything is between you and God. If you feel like you need help, go to God. If you feel like you need understanding, go to God. If you feel like you need wisdom, go to God. If you feel like you need strength, go to God. No man of God, no prophet. These are ordinary human beings. They are ordinary human beings. You will mess up your life just to find out that these people don't even have a perfect life themselves. I mean, I grew up within pastors, so I used to call me radical for Christ. because I grew up within pastors. I know how most of these pastors function. I used to tell the pastor, is that it's me you're talking to. I'm not one of those members in church. It's me. You know, we know our, you know. So don't tie yourself to human beings on earth. Learn to understand the gospel the way it is and take it to God when you need extra help. Don't kill yourself for any religion, for any doctrine, because I can tell you, I was a member of Redeemed Church of God. I'm not bringing them down. I love the church for 15 years, and I can tell you that the adoption that they have made in church, they actually all the more than some Bible verses. They have put some laws in the church that if you fail one of these laws, maybe you have committed the biggest crime. So sometimes the pastor have made his own doctrines to make his church work properly, and you get tied down by these laws and you become a slave of these laws, and you even forget completely that you were following Christ that freed you from laws. Jesus died for grace, because if you follow the law, it means Jesus died in vain. Sometimes we need to read the Bible, understand it, and relate directly to God so that we free ourselves from the bondage and the pressure that human being can put on us and on our happiness.
Thank you very much, my sister. Thank you for explaining very, very well to us and to our audience. And I hope our audience are following us and they've really gained something from this talk this evening. And please do not hesitate to drop your questions, and we'll definitely get back to you some other time when we are responding to it. Before we go, the very last question, and then that will be our goodbye for today. I'd like to ask you one question. If you feel comfortable talking about your encounter, what was your biggest sacrifice you've ever made in a relationship, and what was the impact on you and on the relationship?
Sacrifice I made. I have one particular relationship that drained me. That relationship drained me so much, and it actually paved the way to my mindset towards being a woman and being the woman that I am today. It was one of my first relationships. I was 24 years old. I was to get married to my son's father because we had a son together. And our marriage broke up 3 weeks to our wedding day. Wow. That was one of the biggest challenge I ever experienced. And the worst is that my ex-fiance came back 2 years after and begged for forgiveness and everything, and kind of begged up because he was getting married the week that followed. We went out doing his shopping. He told me he actually traveled to my hometown and told me we spent 2 to 3 days together, and told me, oh, let's go and buy. He has an important meeting. He knows I have good taste. I should help him buy stuff. I actually helped my ex-fiance buy the shoes that he wore at his wedding day, and I saw his wedding 1 week later on Facebook. After I had done everything in my power for that relationship to work, everything I did, but I believe that is when I understand that if a relationship will not work, if you do headstand, it will not work. You don't have to be beautiful, you don't have to be educated, you don't have to know how to cook, you don't have to be humble, you don't have to be submissive, you don't have to. There's nothing you would do to keep a man that doesn't want to stay.
That's right.
So from that relationship, I learned not to depend on any man for anything. I learned not to put too much energy in any relationship if it is not it's someone that has gotten married to me. Because even though I'm married today, I still have deal breakers, and my husband knows. I told him I will stay in this relationship, I will do everything unless this thing happens. This is the reason. This is the thing that I will not stay, and I will go without thinking about it. So even though I am married, I still have deal breakers. But of course, I learned that I should not over give myself to anyone that is not married to me. I should not do headstand for any man. If you like me, you stay. Don't like me, you get out and I get out. Everybody stays happy. You know, at the point people thought I was happy, but of course I'm a very loving person. But I just learned that you can't do too much for somebody that is not that doesn't know what they want. And I think every woman should know what a man wants from you before you know how much you are putting into that relationship. Otherwise, men are very selfish people. They will suck you to your dry, and they will make you they will not tell you what they want. They will make you realize it. Yeah, and it depends on how long you will take to open your eyes to realize what they really want. Otherwise, they'll just let you stay there and suck yourself dry till you finally come to the realization that this is not going anywhere, and you leave. They will never tell you I don't want to. Only some jerks, and I think they are really doing good. Some of these crazy guys will tell you, get out, I don't need you. But other men will not. They will suck you dry till you realize that this is not working, I'm leaving. So I learned that really early, that there's nothing you can do to keep a man that doesn't want to stay.
Thank you very much, Sister Irene. God bless you for coming, and God bless you for pouring out your heart, for being transparent. And I hope our audience, you've heard that. You've learned, mostly our ladies, allow yourself to be won by those who deserve you. Don't force yourself to nobody, and don't remain in a relationship because you are afraid of what people will say. Remember, it's your life. And this life is just one. It's got no duplicates. If you kill yourself, life goes on. So be yourself. In as much as you're loving those around you, be yourself. Love yourself first. And then, like our sister rightly advised, if you need knowledge, you lack wisdom or understanding, go to the author of understanding, the giver of it all. And I bet you, he will give it to you. Thank you, ladies, and thank you, gentlemen, for listening to us. Thank you for your time, because I know time is money. And we're going to stop this show here today. And I promise you we'll come back your way next week, same time, maybe. But till then, from me to you, and from my lady will tell you bye too. From me to you is keeping safe. We love you, and will come your way again. Please, Irene, just tell them bye, and let's stop it here. Thank you.
Thank you so much, listeners, for everybody who passed by, who jumped on. Thank you so much for listening. This was just my humble opinion as a woman, my experiences, and those of others. There are a lot of people, other people with experiences out there, and I'm sure Sister Marcina right here is going to make people come and pour out some of theirs actually as well, because we actually learn by experience, or we learn by education. So experience is actually one of the best teachers. So keep your ears open, always follow her page, and make sure that you participate by maybe bringing in some of yours if you have them. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you very much. God bless you. I appreciate you for coming. Thank you.